Ultimate Dallas Sports Show with a little Shakespeare here in the studio, courtesy of Jonah Javad. Welcome back.
I paid attention to one or two classes.
What have you been doing for the last 20 minutes if you weren't tapping the keg?
Mostly just sleeping, trying to catch up. You know what this time shift has done to me.
Dallas Wings start their season tonight, their home season, I should say, tonight. 1-0 on the year after the win over the Indiana Fever on the road on Saturday. Tonight they host the Atlanta Dream. You can watch the game on KFAA Channel 29. Angel Reese comes to town to face Paige Beckers, Arike Agumbawale, Azzi Fudd, and the Dallas Wings this evening. And we get a chance to see in their home arena what this team looks like here in 2026. It was a fantastic start on Saturday. Now they have an opportunity to back it up.
Yeah, listen, this team should be really exciting all year. I mean, as long as they stay healthy. I mean, they're a unit at guard, and their forwards are somehow making it work. As long as they stay healthy, I would love to see this team win a bunch of games and then make a run into the playoffs. It's been a while since we could say that for them.
I was going to say, granted, the last time they did go to the Western Conference Final. So they did have a decent run last time out. But all that being said, the bar for this team, at least to me, to just have a successful season is fairly low. You were pretty bad last year, retooled roster, new head coach, new first overall pick coming in, trying to adapt to the WNBA. But success to me is a winning season, but if it's a little bit above 500 and with some exciting play, that's all I'm looking for. A little bit more.
I'm looking for some patience,
right,
from some Wings fans.
Yes,
or maybe not even just Wings fans, but Azzi Fudd stands.
Sure,
because if you recall, Paige Beckers' rookie season did not start with a 50-point game in Game 1. It
was
she had
10.
It sounds right. Yeah,
I believe she had 10 points.
She very much looked like she needed a handful of games, get her feet wet a little bit, and then around like mid-season is when you saw like a rapid ascent. And for Azzi, she doesn't have to come in and be what Paige was, and so she might have a little bit of a longer leash in terms of like letting her adapt, keep her minute, checking on her minutes. Keep in mind, she just came off playing an entire college basketball season.
Which is crazy.
They don't need to force her into playing 35 minutes a game. So, yeah, it's just I think people need to give her some grace and patience, let her see the game speed, how the refs call games. It's different a little bit in the NBA, WNBA than
and it's changing this year. They're being a little more touchy. Like they have adapted.
Being a lot more touchy with freedom of movement.
And that's gonna. And for a shooter like Azzi, that's
great.
It's great, but she's gonna have to kind of learn that. Like, how do I kind of use that to my advantage as a shooter? Right, and she probably already does that to some degree, but you think of like in the NBA, guys like Shea that are kind of do the chicken wing, and you're playing for contact as opposed to playing for a shot sometimes. And as a shooter, she's so good that I expect her to rise quickly.
The X factor in all of this is the fact that this was a very different WNBA offseason than we've ever seen.
Yeah.
All of this happened in a very short period of time, and virtually everybody was a free agent. So, yes, they drafted Azzi Fudd to be a guard, to be a key piece of their rotation on April 13th. And then on April 15th, they signed Odyssey Sims.
That's right.
That changed the calculus. And all of this happened with the timing that it happened in because of how topsy-turvy the offseason was, because of the CBA being in flux. So this is not a normal. Usually you draft a number one pick and you're going to be bad that year. And that kid's going to play a whole ton because you're going to be bad that year and they're the only thing you've got. I.e. just last year with Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings. That's not the reality this year. They went out and got Odyssey Sims. They went out and got Jess Shepard and Alana Smith. By the way, they're 1 and 2 most important targets in the front court this offseason, and they landed both of them. This is a vastly different roster for the Wings than it was a year ago. So she is having to dovetail into a rotation that is far more rounded out than would normally be the case for a number one pick.
And not only that, but I mean they haven't practiced more than a few weeks together at most.
Like hardly even. Barely. Arike had one practice,
and they don't have like a 3-week preseason. It's like a week and a half. I mean, they have to come together and create team chemistry and understand their scheme. And then just go out and do it. I mean, it's like the WNBA season as a whole, even the offseason, it is so truncated compared to other leagues that, and the expectation for them to just be their finished product from game one is just not fair to anybody. And you got to give them at least a month to kind of see what this team looks like. But listen, they won their opener against a good team. So, I mean, the expectations have to be realistic.
Yeah.
One game.
And a lot of this is just confidence. It'll just come from playing more, right?
Yeah.
Like it's when Paige started out last year, a lot of it was just finding her shot and finding her rhythm within the offense, deferring too much a little bit early, and then realizing, no, I'm the option. You know what I mean? Not saying, and AZ doesn't have to do that. That's part of this. That's part of the fun.
Because you brought up confidence, I've seen some people saying like, "Oh, they can't do this to AZ. They're going to ding her confidence. You can't have her coming off the bench." Really? We're talking about somebody that won a national championship, that's been a first-team All-American, that was the Gatorade Player of the Year, that was the #1 pick in the WNBA draft for a reason. She has every reason to come in with a boatload of confidence, and she's been a basketball player for a long time. She understands that some people come off the bench. To come off the bench for a few games at the start of a rookie season, she's not that fragile.
No, right. And people are creating narratives that just don't exist. Like, what are we treating her to say that is treating her like a baby, and that's just not fair to her, and it's just not fair to anybody because it's just not rooted in reality. And also, AZ's best season in college was playing alongside Paige Beckers, who was the alpha on the team. So she'll figure out her role on this team. It's going to take some time.
And just to edit one thing, because I need to drop a sentence from that, it's not that she's not that fragile. She's not fragile.
Yeah.
Right.
She's a very, very experienced, highly successful athlete. She knows the deal. She'll be fine, and she's probably going to thrive in this space because of all the talent that she does have around her.
But listen, I'm just glad the fans are passionate because
they are.
That is part of it. I mean, it's fun seeing.
You can't say that
atmosphere.
about some leagues, and so it's legit.
Yeah, and also when we're mentioning confidence here, don't want to get it out like she's scared to shoot or anything on those lines. It's just a dynamic of being on a new team in a new league in a new environment. There's so much like information overload for her. I'm sure that's part of it.